Well, it's yet another time that we welcome you to The Leader. From wherever you're watching us from, it could be morning, it could be afternoon, it could be evening, doesn't matter. You are here and we are here. And today, we're taking initiative to speak to the subject, taking initiative. And with us in studio, I'm so glad that I've got two young men who have taken initiative to accept to be on the show.
Thank you, sir.
Dennis and Patrick. Karibuni sana.
Thank you, sir.
Patrick,
Yeah.
I looked at your title and it said virtual assistant. Title ya nguvu sana. You take initiative to give yourself that title. Who are you? Paka yani you're just digital, you're virtual. Yani your card reads virtual assistant. Wewe ni nani?
Okay. Yes, I am a virtual assistant. My name is Patrick. I love the Lord, and I serve as a youth and children ministry worker in the Presbyterian Church along Eastern Bypass in a church called PCA Thika Road Trinity Church. So I work among the young people. But I'm also a virtual assistant now. So a virtual assistant is someone who helps someone, but virtually, much more like an executive assistant, but now working remote. You're helping someone to meet their admin tasks, but now you're doing it virtually.
So how do you do it? You do Zoom, mama, ni SMS,
No, you use softwares.
Okay.
Yeah, come on Google, and you can work on platforms come Upwork, Fiverr, and so many others. But the most common ones ni Upwork.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
That is Google to me, Maze.
Oh,
Upwork.
not really. It's not that. It's not that hard.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only that now you do not meet
in person
with that with your client. You're helping them meet their task. Maybe you manage their inbox, you manage their calendar, such things, but now virtually. Yeah.
Maze.
But see
We work in person, so we're glad that at least this show we're not doing it virtually.
Yeah, at least to go in person.
Okay. Dennis, what about you? Are you also in that space?
No. But I'm just imagining if you were to do this interview virtually, how would that have appeared? We have Patrick on the other end. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I think it's where tech meets. It's where tech meets now what we're doing in the world.
Right.
And really, because it's amazing that you can be able to help someone away from, actually in two different geographical locations, they're able to do the same work or probably assist one another.
Okay.
Yes.
What about you, Dennis?
Thank you, Juan, for having me in the show. We are very glad to be here. My name is Dennis Mwangi. We are apparently co-workers, actually. Yeah? Okay. I'm not in the children's ministry, but I'm actually in the youth ministry myself, purely, not in the children's. So I'm a youth ministry worker, again, with the Presbyterian Church. Different units. I'm in NEP. That means that I'm handling, or rather I work with Nairobi East Presbytery, and in a parish called Tumaini Utawala. Tumaini Utawala. So we serve with the youths that are around Mihango area, Utawala area. Beyond that, I'm a project manager by profession. So I juggle between both, and that is who I am.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What was it like growing up to where you're at now in your journey of life? Let's start maybe with you.
Okay.
What's your story?
I grew up in Nyeri County. And growing up was a bit fun, but also challenging in a way. But I think God in his own way helps you to go through something so that you are able to also talk to and minister to those people who are going through that. And also, he makes sure that he is shaping you for the future. So I grew up in Nyeri County, and growing up, I always loved being the person who is taking initiative, as we are talking about today. So I am very social and talkative. I'm an extreme extrovert. So I will be the one making noise, leading the other children and boys to go to play. And so I'll always be not in good books with the teacher. But that helped me learn how to always make sure that if they are looking for a volunteer, I will not wait for someone to raise up their hand. I'll be there
Like I would be saying, teacher,
Yes,
me,
yes,
me.
yes, yeah.
Na ni time ya kwenda home.
And time ya kwenda home. And
Unauliza
then,
ati ile hesabu ya asubuhi siku
yes,
understand.
sikushika. And then I'm willing to ask many questions. So by and by, I learned how to get help. Not waiting for it, get help from teachers, from fellow students. And so in high school, I got an opportunity to serve with the student leadership in the CU, and also in the school as a prefect and as a captain. So that kind of helped me grow up into the person I am right now, growing up as a leader, because now I became an assistant school captain in Form 3, and I am now in charge of the school, kind of deputy president.
Wewe ndio ulikuwa rigijio.
Rigidity of those times. And
Tena mtoka Nyeri kama wewe.
Aki. No, we're the same by the same constituency. Because his older brother.
DNA?
Apana.
Okay.
Yeah, but that helped me grow up to become the person I am right now. Because those opportunities would help you learn how to first manage yourself, but also manage other people. And also, my communication skills also grew because you will be able to represent others in front of the teacher. You are representative even in other forums. Yeah.
Wow. Dennis, ulikuwa mbele kama yeye.
Hey, vibaya sana kwanza. For me, I grew up in this county, Nairobi County.
Yes.
In a place called Umoja. So that's where I grew up. As I was growing up, I think I was a bit reserved. Then along the way, I think around class 3, that's when nifunguka vizuri. I became a hyper guy, very hyper. In class, I wouldn't keep quiet. I think I ended up most of the times every evening, either with the Monto, because I would find myself speaking Sheng, or if not that, then I would end up being at the what is it called, staff room, because of either noise making or some issues of indiscipline. And I found myself, the only way that the teachers would contain me is now having me as part of prefecture. So I joined prefecture at a very young age. So it would be very hard. You're the prefect, you're making noise. So it really helped out in taming who I was. And I found myself now, being able to organize the class, organize issues, organize different things in the class. And with time, I found myself in leadership. School captain, that is in primary, went to high school. In fact, in high school, it was very funny. I was a Form 1, not a prefect in the class, but a DOM assistant captain. It was the fun thing that I was able to just organize. In fact, it was not an assigned role, but just taking initiative. I'm telling the captain, Ujua, we've noticed that you're taking too much time before you come and open the DOM so you're able to get the cup. So just give me the keys, I'll be able to organize all that. And I found myself, oh, you can do this. Then even supervise that the dome is washed well for the inspection. So I used to supervise I was a Form 1 and I was supervised the Form 2s. It was really funny. So it looked like I had some protection from the Form 4s because we pushed, make sure the things look well and we win this cup. So all through, I found myself now in leadership all the way to Form 4 again. Again, also in the Christian Union, I found myself also leading in my last year. All the way in campus as well. So it has always been that. And one of the things I have that is in me is that I will not let things just sit as they are. I like challenging. What will happen if we change the particular? What will happen if I move this car from here to this other place? Yeah. What will happen? So I like exploring. I like dynamism. That is who I am.
Wow.
Yeah.
So in your storyline, I picked one or two things. One, there was a moment. Nakumbuka ile story ya Saul. Akachange kukuwa Paul.
A bad guy to a good guy.
Yes.
So, what happened? At least for Saul, scales fell off, flash, light, akachange. Akasikia sauti.
Yes.
For you, did you hear a voice? What happened?
Wow. Let me say, growing up in Nairobi is a bit tough because if I had continued as I were back then,
tungekutembelea committee.
Either mungenikuta, actually, it would be very true. You either found me in committee. If not that, I would be in Mathare right now.
Wow. Network imepotea.
Network imepotea. Because that that hyper kind of trait in me was now on the other wrong end. So I found myself in the wrong books of my parents.
Yeah.
And very wrong ones. We did something that was very crazy. I and my cousin decided to get the car out of the compound, and we
Pushed it out, eh?
pushed it out, went and did some tire rounds, and then we burned someone else's vehicle.
Wow.
So it was that moment that it is now either a break or make. So I was told to make a choice. Where would you go? Do we break? And my parents were a bit tough. Is it? And I was the firstborn. So that means that we have to shape you so that the others can be able to follow up. If we don't shape him, then we are very sure that we will lose the others as well, because they will follow in the same steps.
Yeah.
So that was the make and break moment. And I remember even actually in terms of even grading, because I was not performing very well. I had a lot of chairs. I would come out of school, I would leave the bag at the gate. I would not even report I have arrived. Then I would go and play football till 7:30. So at 7:30 is when I'm remembering, by the way, I left my bag outside the gate. It's not even inside the compound.
Yeah.
It's outside the compound.
Outside.
Yes, and at times you find that you've played some ball with it's okay. Apparently they're the same guys that you're schooling with. You got in the wrong books of them, so they actually now took the books and hid them away from you. So you're now struggling to get your homework. So that was the make and break moment, and I found myself just changing.
And the wisdom of incorporating you into leadership, no pun intended. It's like CS or interior sasa. These crooks, let them become cops.
But it works.
It works, eh?
Because you see, you are commanding a following.
Yes.
And then you see, leadership is influence.
Yes.
So what they do is they utilize that skill that is in you to command a following. So you will be turned into Paul, then you come with your people. So it's like David with his mighty men.
Yes.
So you will come with your mighty men, and they will follow you into doing good. But I think the reason why they did that is because they know that if you are good, you are able to also influence others into doing the right things.
Positively.
Yeah, because I was a noise maker in high school, the teacher just got a way of making me a captain. Because I will not make noise.
Yes.
I will influence people into doing the right things. Yeah, but just
Plus,
like,
you knew all the noisemakers anyway.
yes, you know.
Association of
Hey,
noisemakers.
yes. And then you are caught, chairman. You're caught speaking in your mother tongue, and so they know we want to make sure that these guys are in the right, and then now we have to make sure this guy who's influencing them becomes their leader.
Now let's dive into the subject today. Taking initiative. Going back to the basics. What is taking initiative?
I think
There could be more than one explanation, but in context, to you,
Yeah.
from where you sit, what is taking initiative, and what
I think it's stepping up. Stepping up when no one is doing something. No one is there to supervise you, but you realize a need and you are ready to meet that need. So you step up. I am not the leader here, but there's a need that needs to be met. So I step up and do what needs to be done to make sure that need is met. So I think in my own understanding, that is how I look at taking initiative. No one will give you direction, but you're willing to step up and do something. Yeah.
What about you? From where you sit, what is taking initiative?
Before you even get to initiative,
Yes.
that's from the word initiate.
Yes.
Starting, So it's realizing, it's like what we say in business. There are actual opportunities. There are problems that need to solve. I remember the first place I got employed, they told me, if you ever want to make money, Dennis, solve people's problems.
Yes.
The day you solve someone's problem is where you make money as a business person.
Right.
So, and one of the things I picked up from that cue, because we were really pushed into picking up some of these issues, is realizing where is the problem. Now, once you realize where the problem is, what do you have to offer? And the question is, are you ready to offer the solution to that problem? Or will you sit down and wait for someone else to come and do it?
Yeah.
So if you're able to identify the problem and bring up a solution that comes about, and as Patrick is saying, you are the first to come out. It's not a competition per se, but you'll be noting that there's something that needs to be addressed, and no one is taking any, everyone is looking a blind eye to it,
Yeah.
and you just stepping up and doing it. That is the right thing. I like to put it like this. It's an analogy. It's a very funny one. There are two friends, two ladies. One is called truth, and one is called lie. Then these two decide to go for a swim. So they jump into a well. Of course, they've taken off the clothes.
Yes.
So they jump into the well to take a swim. And along the way, the lie jumps out, then wears the clothes of the truth and starts running. And truth realizes that the lie has left the well and now realizes, actually, even my clothes have been taken by the lie. So the lie dashes off and the truth just dashes after the lie, who's wearing now truth's clothes. And now the members of the society are like, isn't that the lie wearing truth's clothes? And on the other hand, isn't that truth who's naked?
Yeah.
And you see, the thing here is, what people will do. The story goes that the people were not ready to look at the naked truth because the truth was naked.
Yeah.
But not prepared to look at it.
They were all prepared to look at it, but they were very comfortable looking at the truth, the lie dressed in truth's clothes.
Clothes, yeah.
You get, So eventually what happens? Truth decides that I'll go back and hide myself, and goes back to the well and dips himself in. And eventually what happens in society? People aren't able to look at the naked truth, and because of that, the truth hides away. And that is the thing about initiative, not being able to accept that we are seeing this is the naked truth and it needs to be addressed. But we rather have a cloth lie that is in truth's clothes and feel, okay, fine, iko tu sawa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What a profound analogy. Now, in different phases of life,
Yeah.
I mean, you spoke to stepping up as part of, the context of understanding what Take Initiative is.
Yeah.
Must there be a problem for you to take initiative? Must there be a solution you're providing, or are you complementing in the home, in the school, in the workplace, in church,
Yeah.
where you're at,
Yes.
out in the matatu, the marketplace, in the bus? What are some of the examples where you have seen or participated in taking initiative? Why should leaders take initiative? Why should anyone take initiative?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think God has created us and placed us in society in very different formats and styles. And sometimes you don't need to see a problem for you to do something. You can even offer an alternative to something. It's working well, but I think if we do it differently, in a different way, it can also provide solutions. Because like in Matatu, there's a funny stickers that are that are in Matatu. Be the first to speak
Yes.
if the driver is driving carelessly.
Yes.
And that does not have to happen for you to see a problem so that you take initiative. But I think taking initiative is realizing that you being there is an opportunity for change to happen. And change can happen in different ways. You can offer an alternative to something that is already doing well. For example, in school, I remember at one point, we realized that the prefect's body are not treating Form 1s in a good way, and especially from the admin side of the school. And when you take an issue to the principal's office, they will offer you a suggestion that is not very, very kind to, because they'll ask you, why do you bring such things to me? Handle them. You are the prefects. You're the captains. And so you will take it in a wrong way, and you will start now being the teacher instead of being a captain. And we decided these people, when they get to Form 2, they are actually going to either continue keeping us on the throne or dethrone us. So treat them well. Let them understand why they need to do what they need to do. Because in high school, I remember Form 1s were called wheelbarrow, ya shule. John, you want to take every duty. But just deciding to treat them well in a different way, so that you expect, after you explain why they need to do something, they will then do it willingly without being coerced. So sometimes you will take initiative not because there is a need, but you are also offering an alternative that can help someone do something different. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's true. And I think I think he's put it very out clearly. You don't have to see a problem to actually air out worries, but actually even bring out an issue of compliment. Just like the way you'll have, how will I put it? Just like the way you will have bread with Blue Band. It's just a way of bringing out the flavor in what you're taking up as breakfast. So I think initiative is both ways, addressing the problem that we're having there, and also looking at what complementary things can we offer
to a situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think if leaders have that in their mind, that I am here to also complement, not only to change, that way they are able to influence a lot of change. Because as a leader, when you see a need and you are willing to make sure that that need is met, then you are helping the society.
And I want to take initiative because naona tuchukue maji as we go on a short break. Let's take initiative and take water.
Okay, thank you.
Hope TV is now available on GoTV channel 103, Zuku channel 873, Signet channel 817 and Star Times channel 026. Enjoy our uplifting content and family-friendly programming anytime. Hope TV, you look and live.
Every Friday at 11 a.m. on Hope Junction. We play the latest jams.
You're changing my attitude. My heart is yours. For you alone, for you alone.
Plus your requests. If your favorite song tells your story better, let the whole world hear it.
Welcome back. Now, just before the break, we were discussing the subject of taking initiative.
Yeah.
Have there been instances when one has taken initiative and it backfires and you wonder, Sasa, I took initiative here, it's not appreciated. Do you have any examples? Have you experienced?
Yeah, especially in both at work and also in ministry. And sometimes you will begin a project or even being the person who is given the responsibility of following it through. Because you see, taking initiative will also mean someone began a project, then they either left or they got something else to do. And so you are asked to follow it. Sometimes you will not even receive like a direct order or direction to follow something. And I remember serving as a children ministry worker, and we began a class, transitions class, and sometimes, especially when I am not there, and you have been very keen to raise leaders who are able to follow through when you are not there. And you realize that in your absence, nothing happens, yet you have invested a lot of time in training those people, either because they have not caught the vision, or sometimes they will definitely be not willing to follow a project through. And when it backfires, I think the best thing I have done is to go back, sit and think, this did not work. What am I missing here? So you ask yourself that question. So you either work on mentoring more people to take up your roles when you're not there, or you change the strategy altogether you decide now, I was using Excel maybe to do data analysis. I need to learn a new language to analyze data. So you look for an alternative, and sometimes that will come from even your colleagues, people who have been there before you, and you ask them, hey, Dennis, I'm working with the young people and I have a transitions class and it's not working. What do you do different in your church? The context may be different, but sometimes you can get ideas from other people. And I think that is what I have done. Like where I'm currently serving, I have a challenge of running a transitions class, because you see the class 8 students have a lot of pressure in school. And you expect them on a Sunday, they are not there. Many of them are in boarding schools. So I asked a friend of mine called Senna, how do you deal with a transitions class when you do not have students? They are out for boarding. So she tells me, you can work with the holidays. Look for like 4 days, do a program, like a crash program, make
So you
sure.
adapt.
Yes. So that now you will meet the goal, but maybe in a compressed manner. So when they are out for holiday, when they are resting, you do that program. But you make sure that you meet your goal. Yeah.
Wow. In your
Very
case,
profound. Wow, well, I have also encountered the same, and it wasn't very interesting. What happened was that we was in charge of procurement. So what happened is that I was the one who was in charge. So I decided.
Yes.
Yes. So I decided to do something that was a bit, I would call it ambitious. And I was a bit young then. It's not as I am right now. I was a bit young. So I was just 2 years into the job, and I've decided just to take a very bold step. So I took a very bold step without consulting. So I took the step, and the things came. Apparently now, what happened is we had not adequate stock. We had now excess stock. Wow, that was now another thing. So we now had excess stock, and the movement was not very friendly. I was in the agro field, so apparently it was not raining. So when a stock take was done, we realized we had excess. Beyond the normal stock levels. My projections were working. I had anticipated it would rain. Now it doesn't rain. It hasn't rained. So now we are having excess stock, and now the problem is that also the lapse towards the expiry date is also coming around. And I remember going for a management meeting, and I got a very big backlash. I was like, what have I done? But when I left the meeting, I was like, I will never do anything like that. I will never do anything. And I had told myself that anytime I think I just have to have it signed by the management ahead.
you played safe now.
Yeah, I played safe. I will not, because I had done probably others and I had seen them working, so I thought, why not try this other one? Yeah. And when I left the meeting, I felt like I should never take such an initiative. Let me just wait. When the stock level come to a point where you have the minimum order, that's where we'll do the order. But as I left for home, I asked myself, is that who I am? I said, when I looked at it, I said, this is not me. I won't sit down and just let that backlash. So what I did the following day, I organized a meeting with the sales team. Some of them were very far away. So I would literally call them. Having a meeting, we need to discuss a few issues. And I got a way of incentivizing them to push this product so that we go back to the normal stock levels. Yeah. What was so surprising is that I think we were just missing that bit. And there's something I learned actually. Within 2 weeks, we were now below again the minimum stock order. And now my boss comes and tells me, why are we having less stock than what we should actually have? So I was like, is this the same mouth that actually told me that almost got fired because of having excess stock?
You are too ambitious.
It was too ambitious. That is telling me that we have minimum stock we need to add. And I told myself, okay, fine. Things just need to be initiated by the way. Yeah. And I will say one of the things that I am actually, I will say I'm proud of is just before COVID, we did something similar. And that was a game changer. It was actually a game changer in the industry because we were able to bring products just before COVID. Just before we got the lockdown in February, we had done the projections priorly. We had requested for the products to come in from China. And the funny thing is that China works in a different kind of manner. For them, when we're in Christmas, they're actually working. They have their New Year's holiday in January. So just before we got to our New Year's, they had already shipped out. the containers. So by the time now they're having their COVID lockdown, our consignment was in high seas, so we were very comfortable. So we got to Kenya, we cleared them and had them. Now again, we had this issue. I had asked for too much, no space in the stores. So do I rent stores? That's the issue I was asking myself. Do I rent another warehouse to do this? And I remember we were having a discussion with the management, and we agreed, no, we can actually do our own structures. And remember, we were able to start off something that had stalled for some time. Now, the game changer was that when people were now doing the requisitions, China could not produce. Bwana, we made money, my friend.
So they're killing, eh?
In fact, now you sell at the price that you feel like you should actually sell.
Yes.
There are no issues of discounts. We do not have the product in the market. So talk of glyphosate. We sold it at the price we thought that was appropriate at that particular time. And that was actually the break and make moment for the different players in the industry. So there are people who are like, why don't you just give us some of the consignment? We will find a way of getting them sold in our own brand name. And we can agree on how probably when our consignment comes in, then we can agree on how we can compensate. But those months between, actually the funny thing was that before April, what we had imported was actually cleared.
Wow.
So we were asking for more. I would say at times, taking that leap of faith is actually good. There are so many external voices that come to your mind or from around your environment and spheres that will tell you, you've done this, you've jumped, it's too ambitious, don't. But then again, if you don't, it means that you've stayed in the same complacent state that you are in.
Then who will?
Who
Exactly,
will?
who will? Yes.
Like last year, I remember we got an idea from one of us about she had a concern about the boy child. So she asked me, Patrick, what can both of you and Dennis do? You both work in the PCA church among the young people. What can you actually do? Think of something. Boys and young men who are below 25 years, just to see how you can help them with the little experience you have and knowledge working as youth workers. And so we teamed up with Dennis, and we began a movement. We call it the Man Garage. So we call ourselves mechanics.
I like that.
Yeah, so we have another friend of ours called Duncan. So the three of us, we began a movement called Man Garage. So our desire is to speak to young men in a very simple way. Just have a conversation. We sit down, the three of us, and then we talk to them virtually again. And then so that was an answer to a need a lady saw. And so she asked me, apparently
And she
she's my
shared
wife.
it.
Yeah, apparently she's my wife. Yeah.
Okay, good.
So she
Yeah.
asked me, Patrick, what can you do? And so we had a meeting. A mentorship program called Maadili for boys between the age of good with children. So when we come together, and Duncan is good with communications. So the three of us sat together and we began a mentorship program that runs during the holiday season. But also we have now another one that happens virtually every Friday. And we talk to young men about the issues that they are going through. One of it being LGBTQ,
Yes.
which is very key right now. Sensitive.
Topical, yeah.
Yes.
And just speaking to them from our experience as Christian young men, how are they supposed to live and deal and engage with those issues, even from a manhood point of view and also from a biblical point of view? Yeah.
So I like that mentorship program, because someone saw,
Yes.
incidentally, not
Yeah.
even of the same gender,
Yeah.
lady,
Yes.
but saw a need potentially and spoke to you,
Yeah.
and you rose up to
Yeah.
the occasion.
Yeah.
Unpack that mentorship program. What are you hearing when you engage? What are the challenges, and how can those who are watching here be open to listen?
Yeah.
And there could be those voices you spoke of, the many voices in the marketplace, in the field, in the head, your own experience telling you, no, utaanguka hapa.
You are not
Wacha.
you are not good enough
Not
to
good enough,
even
et cetera,
speak
so
to
on.
boys.
So
Yeah.
what are you hearing? What are these? How do you start and how do you maintain? What's the challenge? And even those who you're mentoring sometimes also fall, slip, but how do you also
Bring them
back?
up. Yeah. I think one greatest need we have noticed is that we have a real need of boys having someone who walk with them. And every parent you speak to, asking them to sign up their boy to that program, they are very interested. It was interesting to even see like how cousins visit. And you see a mother telling you, I have my son, but I also have
Cousins.
Other like 3 cousins.
Wakuje.
Wakuje too.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how the need that is out there for mentorship to young men. And they are looking up for someone who can hold their hand. I remember a colleague of mine has a boy, like 6 years old. And she was telling me, Patrick, when they break for holiday, I want to bring that boy to you.
To hang around you.
Nikulete tu huku so she's my colleague, so anataka amlete tukae tu na yeye job.
Yes.
That tells you how urgent young men and other men need to look at mentorship for boys. And just speaking to them, I remember an opportunity Dennis had in their church to speak about LGBTQ in a VBS, a teens event. And we began with a question. So we asked them, imagine you are a parent. So first we asked them, would you be willing to go in that direction? They said they have no problem themselves. Sometimes you can understand your brother, because we asked them, what if your brother comes and tells you, hey Dennis, I want to introduce you to my girlfriend. And he brings Patrick.
Jamaa yako yeye auto reverse.
And they said, Juni brother yangu, mi naweza muelewa. Si yeye ndiye amechoose. So that was the first question we asked.
Yes.
The second we asked, now imagine you are the father or the mother.
Of
Yes.
This student.
Of this student,
Yeah.
of this son, mwenye anakuletea another guy to be the girlfriend.
my partner.
Yeah, it's my partner. It's interesting. When it's their brother, they can understand a bit. But when it's their child, that is not.
It's a no.
No, it's a no-go zone. We don't argue. We don't talk about it. It's a no, and they will give you. They will even give you reasons and steps what they would do. I would first take them for counseling. Look for a pastor. Look for a youth worker like you. Then ask them, do you really?
Are you my son?
Yes. Are you even serious? And that tells you the need for mentorship.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually very true. The gap for mentorship is really huge.
Yeah.
And it's a monkey see, monkey do kind of situation. And there's something we keep on emphasizing with Patrick, that the only way a boy will know he's a boy is when he sees what other big boys or men are actually doing.
Yes.
So the boy needs a man to affirm him. The young girl needs a lady to affirm her as a girl. If they found themselves in reverse situations, you will find the boy behaving, assuming the person who's affirming the boy is a lady. Most of the traits will end up becoming like that of the lady, because he doesn't have a figure of
A context, yeah.
yes, who is a man?
Yeah.
How does a man behave?
Yes.
What are the characteristics of a man?
So many are missing in action here.
Yeah.
Yes, men actually, okay, I'm also one. we are MIA.
Yes.
And I understand, like for myself, being brought up in Nairobi, the hustles in Nairobi are very tough. So your dad leaves at 5, you don't see him. So at the end of the day, the only time you get to see your dad is probably in the evening.
Yeah.
Or not even evening, in the weekends actually.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
If
you are
you're
lucky.
lucky.
Otherwise, he's going out kutoa lock.
Hiyo sasa. And
I'm
like,
lost.
I'm lost.
like for myself, I used to know na gazeti. So I used to count the number of gazetes I would tell.
Yeah.
How many days has he been able to come home over the week?
Yeah.
So if I see the newspaper in the morning before I go to school, I would now, fine, he came.
He came. Wow.
Yes. Or you look, mostly the gazeti, so most of the times. And we understand now because of the economic tough times that we're having, they will probably push us. We're also understanding now because we're in the field now, we see how it is tough. But the question here is, what happens to them?
Exactly.
So the gap comes in. So who are where I would actually put it like what there's this movie called Courage. Is it Courageous?
They are courageous.
Courageous,
Yes.
yes.
Where are the men of courage
Yes.
who will stand up and stand in this gap and speak for the young men and the young ladies? I think that father figure, because it's also the issues are also bringing issues even in relationships. The affirmation of the lady by the dad did not get to experience that fatherly love, so gets into a relationship, then he's probably doesn't get what she's looking for from the boyfriend. We end up seeing broken marriages, and basically, as we were saying, I will climb us with what Patrick has just said. The family is the basic fabric of society.
Of society.
Right, yes.
So it means it's a mom and dad, and now come what God blesses us with, the children. Yeah, so we need that unit together, and just be intentional in the things we do, and we'll be good to sail.
And it's interesting. There's a meme going around on WhatsApp groups, and no pun intended here, that even Satan, we know the role of Satan in the Bible.
Yeah.
I think that.
He didn't go to naked Adam. Alienda kwa surely. If Satan can even know the difference. But it is real.
Yeah.
We can't camouflage and hide from what is happening around us.
Yeah.
What is important? What are we doing about it?
Yes.
In terms of taking initiative.
Yes.
Yes.
In church, in the workplace,
Yes.
in the home. And if we don't accept that this is the present reality and doing something about it, then we're lost as a nation.
Let me tell you something. I told you I'm in projects.
Yes.
One of the things we do when we are doing projects, the first phase is initiation. So you do feasibility studies, get to understand what the challenge is, who are the people who need to do this, stakeholder management, this and that, before you now come to planning and allocate the different things, communications, finances, stakeholder management, how to do the project. Initiation is very key. If you miss it, then when you come to planning, you'll have a problem in execution.
Right.
So because you have to actually now, we have to monitor along the way. Now, one of the things that we miss out is the part of initiation. And part of initiation, we look at the issues to do with advocacy. And I will say this outrightly, because you will see with the kind of setup with this community, because they're also our brothers and sisters, the LGBT community. There's a lot of advocacy that these people are really pushing through, either through using finance, through media, through communication. In fact, even policies.
Yes.
They are pushing policies to ensure that they are safeguarded. Or even judgments like the ones we had recently.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see how much time they have invested with people in the legal field to help them
Telling you.
interpret the law and the constitution of this country. And so sometimes you will look at us who are the Christian circles, and if you will see that sometimes we are bypassed by them in a way, because they are investing a lot of time. They are taking a lot of time and investing so much research and advocacy to make sure they push their agenda. And you see, if we do that, great things are going to happen.
Yeah.
But we are comfortable. We are relaxed. Everything is going on well. There's a father and a mother and 2 children. So nothing else needs to be done. But actually, something needs to be done.
It's interesting. Just yesterday, because we're studying the book of Jude, just one short book in the Bible. But it's about contending with the faith, standing up for the faith.
Yes.
And in it, I was able to just share with the team, because we lead a group on that, is that there is what you call social deception. And in social deception, you've got 6 stages of this social deception, where the first stage, even on matters that would be shocking, is introduce it into society, and that first stage is the shock stage, shocker stage, After that shocker stage, there'll be outrage. What do you mean? We're Africans. It's not. But the ones who have that agenda introduced it, shock.
Let's see what will
There's
happen.
outrage. But it's according to plan. After outrage, come the next stage. It starts becoming discussion. It starts becoming alive. It's no longer spoken about in closets, in wacha nikwambie.
Yeah.
You know, it's now open. People are discussing about it. Before, when I was growing up, you talk about, hey, bwana, guys will wonder what's wrong with you.
Yeah.
But now people are talking about it openly.
It's a lie in truth's clothes.
And exactly. And that is according to plan with those who had that agenda. That is the discussion, because now it's becoming public discourse.
Yeah.
After that public discourse stage, you have what you call tolerance. It's accepted. Like this, you.
Yeah.
Same thing that you're talking about. If it is my brother, like no. But tolerate. He matters what they do, bwana, in locked nini. Come if I don't see, if I don't know, it's not happening.
Yeah.
You actually begin to tolerate. After that, now you have the acceptance of sisi.
Si
lakini
tuko sawa. Yeah.
and they're looking at the law, like you said, etc. and so on, because now we're getting into acceptance. Because I'm not legal, but I find it curious, and again, no pun intended. If stealing is criminal, is wrong, and yet an association of thieves is not wrong,
Yeah.
everyone unpack it for me. Because they've turned it out to become a human rights issue.
Yeah.
Don't discriminate. You become a minority issue. And that is, again, the analogy of the camel in the desert. Telling the owner, hey, nasikia baridi, can I just put my nose in the tent? Kidogo tu. The head, it's getting cold, it's around midnight. Can I put in my hamp?
Yeah.
Come in. Kidogo, kidogo. The owner who was in is out, and the camel that was out is in. And that is how it creeps up on you.
It's
And
like
if you don't
giving the
stand up,
devil a
yes.
foothold.
There you are.
Yeah. So it begins with the feet,
Yes.
the leg, the whole body.
Finally, is in.
Yes,
is
and
it.
he's the owner of that house.
And now this veneration, and they put money,
A lot of money.
a lot of it. That means if kuna njaa, shida yenu ninyi, these guys are minority bana.
Yeah.
Kuna njaa hajanyesha Kenya, have grant bwana.
Yeah.
You see, one of the things I never got to understand is, let me just put it plainly. We had a discussion with, we have a forum called Cadets at Ruaka, and I usually attend some of their sessions. So we were having a conversation on that issue. And the reality that hit us is how well funded these guys are. Well funded. To the point that let's go out for a staycation. Let's go to Nyanyuki. And these guys have an agenda. And one of the places now we are failing, because I'm also part of the society that is failing, is we are more reactive than active.
Yes.
Them, they're active. It's action for them. For us, it's reaction.
Yeah.
Wait until it happens, then you push, and then yeah.
And of course, along the way, it is like the crack. I like telling the youths, like the legendary crack on the wall.
Yes.
You see a crack, you decide, no, there's a crack. We will not redo the house. Let us do plaster on it.
Aye.
You plaster. Then you realize with time, the crack comes on top of the plaster. Let us put some paint. You do some undercoat. Then you apply. Then we can't see the crack.
A camouflage, but it's still there.
It's
Still there.
Yeah.
Eventually, the crack will still appear on top of the paint. Now, what happens after that?
Yeah.
So that's what we keep on doing, us. And the reaction is not very good. I think it's time we face the bull head on. And not by mouth, because our biggest problem, we are very good in saying. Indeed, we are challenged. In doing, we are very greatly challenged. And the concept we need to do when we, as leaders on such bits, is just not just saying, but doing. Let us be doers of the word.
Yeah.
It will actually save us a lot.
And I think I appreciate what churches are doing, even alliances that are evangelical are doing, because if we do not take action, and what I do is, if you compare what that other part of the society is doing, they're investing a lot of resources. And last month, in January, when we began this year, when Dennis had invited me to do a discussion on that issue, I was doing research in preparation for that presentation, and I realized how frequent those people are pushing their agenda. They're not doing it one-off. Like they will push today. They are pushing it weekly and in every platform. Consistently.
All areas. All
So they will hit today, no one sees. Tomorrow, no one sees. By the time they have done 7 days, someone will wonder, na nyinyi mnasemanga nini? What is this all about? And they will use every avenue, podcast. They have films.
Media.
Yes,
There you go.
media in
The heroes in movies.
Yeah.
Always like a guy who you feel like, this guy must say, I want to, and the way,
Yeah.
like in Kidogo, you find is a guy behind the closet, there's something
Yes.
awkward, odd about it.
yes,
You find at the World Cup,
yes,
where you have got billions watching, you've got the agenda,
Yes.
say, you know, tolerate, accept,
Yeah.
you're here. Kidogo, you find
We are now tolerating. We are tolerating, and at the end of the day, we are accepting.
Yeah.
Accepting.
It becomes a reality, and it becomes a reality. It's very hard to change the reality. We are just left with. We keep on complaining. We just keep on saying it. We should have.
So what hinders leaders from taking initiative? I mean, let's also be real.
I think sometimes it's also being passive. You're not willing to do something. You're just there. See, someone else will do.
I'm not going to say that's on here. Let me deal with my issues once
Eh,
before, you know.
yes. But what I have realized with God is that God will not create us to be selfish. I only mind about myself. Then that will be very boring. So as much as you have your own issues to deal with, if Dennis is in need, help him out. So that now when you're helping him out, you're also careful to do something to your own life. Such that you are not only focusing on I, me, and myself. So I think it's time we start being active.
Content, stand
Yes.
up, be bold, be
Yes.
confident.
Let's show up every
Show
day.
up.
Let's show up.
We need to be Subarus.
Yes.
Confidence in motion.
Yeah.
Confidence in
Kila
motion.
wakati. Yeah. Because when we are passive, then we will wait. Someone else will do. Even at work. Excel haifanyi. Someone, hao watu wa IT watakuja kufanya vitu zingine. But pengine you have that skill. Something is not going on well. Hiyo tap yenye ina leak.
Wacha tu.
Wacha tu.
What will happen after that? I like a meme, no
Yes.
pun intended. A family has a problem with the doorknob. So for a full year, they are complaining. And then the man comes and fixes. It's just oiling. And then this thing has taken, the wife asks the man, this thing has taken a full year. Will that also be the case with also the lighting, the bulb? Because it's also now off now. And the man says, I think so as well. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
As he's saying, I think it boils down to Judges chapter number 6. I like the story of the olive, the vine. What else? It's the olive, the fig tree, the vine, and the thorn bush.
Yes.
Yes.
It will precast. Now, that was what will happen. Because if no one does, no, I won't take leadership. What will happen to my olive oil? Won't I give these people the fig tree? What about my beautiful fruits? The vine? What will happen to the wine?
Yeah. They will prick you.
So now we'll end up with thorn. So it will prick us.
Yeah.
It will be very bitter for us.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think that is what we have now come to realize. We have been quiet about so many things. Last year, I saw someone, a children worker, ask this question. If international movie companies and film companies are investing billions of US dollars in making films that push that agenda, and the church is just there, and we are not partnering to do something. So that if this church has an ability, a strength, they partner with another organization.
Complement,
Yes, you complement one another.
Yeah.
You offer an alternative so that you make sure you are doing something. So right now, it has hit us. We will have to do something, just like what is happening with the drought situation. We will talk about it, but how many people are actually doing something?
Yeah. We have to go beyond just
Yes,
talking.
it will trend on Twitter, and we will do
Keyboard
so many.
warriors.
Yes,
Virtual.
virtual. But no one is doing something. So I think it's time, like Dennis said,
Yes.
we continue talking,
But doing.
but doing.
Step up to do something.
Yes.
You know, just two very quick words. I recall there was once I was walking from work, and I could see, you know, you always scan your environment as you walk. You don't just walk to Hivo.
Yeah.
And maybe bag, and there was a lady who was walking. I didn't know her in front, just in the streets. And there was this guy who was also, I could see he's walking like he's harassing people. And I knew he was going to target her. And I could see she was speeding up, walking, looking around. And what I did is that I just moved closer to her and we walked together. That guy kept, because now I didn't know he knew that I can't harass her. I didn't know her. I didn't want to know her. I've never known her, but I took initiative to just show that, you know what, by being around here, then that guy will not harass you.
Very true.
And I made sure that she crossed the road, mimi nikaenda zangu nikaendelea hivyo.
Yeah.
Wow. And you know, it's funny, Nairobi, you're actually mugged when people are looking at you.
Oh yeah.
In fact, you're mugged, literally. It takes them a full 2 minutes, and people just watch
And the
you
guy
getting
made those
mugged.
recording so that he
Yeah.
could trend
Exactly.
kwa Twitter. Mazee, jamaa
This is
alinyongwa
how
leo.
phone are snatched in Nairobi. Yeah.
Chwa, ndio hiyo imeenda. Dennis Patrick, wow. Season 2 of Take Initiative is going to come soon.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Any quick parting shot, 10 seconds each, take home.
Show up.
Show up.
Do something.
Do something.
Yeah.
What about you?
Myself, step up.
Step up.
No one else ought to. You are the one who ought
If
to.
not, ni wewe.
You were-
Wear it.
And if I don't end this show now, well, we'll be kicked out. So I'm taking initiative to end the show. That has been the leader. Taking initiative was the subject. Till next week, same time, we thank you for the privilege of your time. God bless.